All right, the time is 5 p.m. I am just looking to see if I can find my comment box. Uh, and I'm not going to delay it. I wasn't able to find it last time, but here's what I will say that if you have comments tonight as we go through or questions, you can use the chat. And I assure you that once we're done here today, I am going to come back and revisit and answer all your questions pretty timely. But welcome, welcome to the final day of 5 lives in 5 days with 5 Minute Career Hack. Listen, we are celebrating our 100th episode. Man, I cannot even express how proud I am of my business partners, Alicia and Jamila, and myself. It takes discipline, consistency, it takes heart, it takes strategic goal setting for us to show up for 100 episodes and keep this platform consistent. And we are celebrating. Last night when I talked, I said, this is a party. So I'm going to give you the same challenge that I gave last night of what do you do when you get invited to a party? If they allow you to bring a plus one, you go and you invite people to the party. Well, listen, I'm giving you all a plus five. While I get us teed up here today, take a pause and invite 5 people. You know, we like fives at the 5 Minute Career Hack. Invite 5 people to come out and celebrate with us in our 100th episode extravaganza. And tonight I'm wrapping up with day 5 of 5 lives in 5 days. Night 1, Jamila talked about resume. Then Alicia came in and talked about interviewing. Last night, I walked us through the dating process. That's that first interview, all the way to receiving the marriage proposal, which is the job offer. And I gave you a sneak peek last night and told you today I am talking about what to do when you get the job. You got the job. Now what? How do you master those first 90 days in role, ensuring that you don't burn out or end up in marriage counseling that you maybe should have gotten before you got there? That's another podcast. That you are strategic in your activities in a way that serves your organization and yourself alike. Not 80/20, not 70/30, not 10/90. You and the organization alike. You're working on activities that's going to serve them and you. And then lastly, that you don't get fired in that first 90 days, that you don't get a divorce out of this open marriage. So, look, before I hop in, I want to hopefully you've invited 5 people. I know Jamila always talks about her favorite emoji. I don't necessarily have a favorite emoji, but like I said last night, I love love. So, when I say things that resonate with you, or I ask a question, or sometimes I might just say, hey, just pop some hearts in the chat. Put a heart in the chat when you're feeling what I'm talking about tonight, because I am again shaping this message in a way that I hope is relatable. I talked about dating jobs. Now you got the marriage proposal. If you've ever listened to, I believe it's episode 2 of the 5 Minute Career Hack, that's 98 whole episodes ago. Episode 2 of the 5 Minute Career Hack podcast, I talked about you being in an open marriage with your organization. Now, look, I've never been in an open marriage. I don't know how to govern myself, but I've researched it for the sake of this content that we started producing a couple of years ago, and understood a little bit more about some open marriage principles. And I think the same applies to how you approach your employment, especially in those first 90 days, because we don't want you getting fired or getting divorced in that first 90 days of work. Okay. So listen, the important part about tonight too is that you stay till the end. I'm going to be on here for another 25 minutes. So I'm gonna drop these gems and head on out. The party's gonna be over. You ain't gotta go home. But I want you to stay to the end, because at the end of this episode, at the end of this live that I'm doing right now, which is streaming on YouTube and LinkedIn, I am going to be giving away more freebies from the 5 Minute Career Hack team. Yes, Jamila gave out nearly 100 things on the first night. Alicia gave out some things. Last night, I gave out 15 gifts, 5 packages. And tonight we're going to see what the Spirit says when I get to the end, and I'll tell you what I'm giving out. But you're going to have to stay tuned to the end. Invite your friends. If you know someone who is just starting a job or maybe experiencing some challenges in the workplace, this is about 90 days, but this is about how do you make sure that you are functioning in the job and focusing on the right things. All right, so we're going to hop right in because we have now 24 minutes to get this through. So I shared a stat. Hopefully, I don't know if you um, looked at the description of this live, but I shared a stat that nearly 20% of new hires leave their job in the first 45 days. And I come from the field of operations, so I know how much it costs to hire someone. That's a big number, and depending on the role, it can range anywhere from $4,000 to upwards of $20,000, right? And this is content for organizations as well, because you don't want to lose your talent in the first 45 days. But for you hackers that are listening, I don't want you to be a part of this 20% that leave their jobs within the first 45 days. Sometimes when I'm talking to people, I hear them say things about why they left, or how with the turmoil of their first 90 days is, you know, um, my boss was crazy, or that's a crazy company, and the strategy wasn't clear. And while all these things might be true, what if you found out that it was you who was actually the challenge? Don't beat yourself up. I was there. I had some challenges at work from time to time. And when I really did that deep exploration of myself, I reflected, became more self aware. I realized that I was the problem because I didn't have the thought process and the tools that I'm sharing with you tonight, right? So are you focused on the right things when you get to this job? Or are you focused on making a big difference as soon as you come in? I got to come in and make my stamp right away. Are you sprinkling your authenticity in a little too early? They didn't ask for your authenticity when you signed that paperwork. They asked you to come learn this job and make an impact in their organization. Are you trying to change all the processes as soon as you get there? If that's you, stop right now. Don't do that anymore, because this is the type of stuff that causes you to get burned out or get divorced from your job sooner than you would have liked to, right? So, quick recap on the yesterday. We talked about the dating process. So, you've been on a date, you've connected with his or her friends, you've been by their house. You've seen how they keep their space. You understand what kind of dinner they like. So when they popped that question, made you the job offer, you said yes. You are walking down the aisle now, and you are getting married, and you're entering an open marriage. I don't have time to explain what the open marriage concept is, but go back and listen to episode 2 on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere else that they stream podcasts. We're there. Go back and listen to episode 2. And don't forget to like, share, and write us a review when you go listen to that episode. So I'm breaking this down in 3 buckets today. And the bucket 1 is how to ensure that you don't get burnt out in that first 90 days. Get burnt out in that first 90 days, and you end up in the marriage counseling to save your marriage in that first 90 days. So in that first 30 days, your focus should be on understanding your partner. That's the organization, right? You're understanding your partner. And then that next 30 days, you are nurturing the relationship with open communication, and you're building trust with this person because you're new at this. You're still getting to know things that you didn't necessarily find out OJT, right? You didn't find that out. You're on the job now. Things that they may have told you when you were dating them, you may find out not to be true. So you're building trust. You're having open communication. And then when you get to that 90 days, you are on the way to that possible partnership that could be. I didn't say it was going to be, because I don't speak in absolutes, and I'm not guaranteeing you anything, because you're going to find out when you are in this open marriage. But you're on the way to a possible partnership that could be strong and resilient, right? So now let's talk about that honeymoon phase. Like I said, you've been to their house. So that first 30 days is really that honeymoon phase. You're absorbing all the information. You're taking your computer-based learnings. You are training with your trainer. You are asking questions, staying inquisitive. You are learning all the things that it takes for you to be successful in this job. Now, hopefully, you would have if you had been with 5 Minute Career Hack, but hopefully, when you were in the interview dating process, you were asking questions like, tell me, how do you measure success in this role? What does success look like for me in the first 30, 60, 90 days? You need to get those answers in the interview process so that you don't have to come in and have to discover what that is, but you definitely have to revisit it when you get to that honeymoon phase and you start to build that harmony with your work spouse, right? So that first 30 days, that's the honeymoon. You're absorbing all the information. You obviously then you are moving into clear communication, right? Clear communication. If you, like I said, I've never been in an open marriage. I've been in a marriage. I've been in a work open marriage, right? But that communication is so critical so that you all are on the same page, building mutual trust and mutual understanding in the early stages of marriage. You have to communicate openly with your spouse. Your spouse is your colleagues, your supervisors, your team. That is your spouse. You have to communicate with them. Understand, ask your boss. I hear Alicia talk about this all the time, and it's a gem that um, I like to carry and with me. I think I heard her say it back in 2012. But ask your boss exactly what their priorities are for you in that first 30, 60, 90 days so you can make sure your activities are aligned with that. Or you can take an opportunity to say, okay, this one here, it seems like it might be something that I need some additional support with. You can have that conversation in that clear communication. Another part of that clear communication is, like I said in the last one, is just being curious. You are asking questions. You are asking questions of your boss, of your team, of your colleagues, of the executives. If you're in a high level role, you're asking questions. A lot of times we consider clear communication to be telling people everything that we think they need to know that we know. Say that 10 times, 10 times fast, right? Being curious. You can get the same communication across just by asking questions. Don't be afraid to be inquisitive and curious in this next 30 days. That first 60 days, you have to ask questions, because then when you ask questions, the light is the knowledge, which then builds an understanding of how you should be operating in that job. Okay? And then you're on the way to that strong foundation. That's the 90 days. Your partnership is on the way to maybe be a thriving open marriage, right? Where you can prioritize your well-being and you can balance your activities because you've asked the questions, you've built some trust, you have embraced the honeymoon phase, you're accepting that you're past the honeymoon phase. You're building a partnership that is much like a thriving marriage, right? Because you have understanding and you have knowledge of what it takes to win at that job. Okay. Pop me some hearts in the chat. I can't see the questions, just being quite honest with you all. I don't see questions, but I promise to get to those questions as soon as the live is over. But if this resonates with you, if you can think about and recall in your first 90 days where maybe you didn't take this approach of slowing yourself down just to learn, to communicate, and to build a partnership with your job. If this resonated with you, or if you found yourself in that place, put some hearts in the chat. If you know somebody who you've encountered who may have been through this, it's not too late. They can still join and get some of these free giveaways, but more importantly, they'll be able to continue to hear the knowledge that I'm going to continue to drop today. Okay? So next is being strategic with the right activities that are going to benefit you and the organization alike. So you've already gotten with your boss and they told you what you should be focusing on. Now you have to align the activities and the goals that you've set. You have to align those with what you were told and what you understood from those clear communication conversations with your boss. So that first 30 days is more about, in this phase, therefore, is more about you setting expectations and establishing goals that align with your partner's vision. That next 30 days, is about you being a proactive contributor. Okay, and I'm gonna talk about that in a second. And then that next 30 days is where you can move into that phase of seeking feedback for mutual growth, right? But this is when you should start to feel the synergy. If you approach that 30, 60 days correctly, you'll start to feel that synergy in that 90 to 120 days versus still feeling completely lost when you're in that job, right? So, shared goals. Again, this is not about you prioritizing your company over you, or I'm 90% me, 10% them. They're paying you to do a job. So this is a balanced approach, right? In the goals that you're setting and the goals that you're going after in that first 30 days. So you're setting clear goals based on the feedback that you got from your boss, and you're aligning them with your partner's visions. Just like marriage, you have to establish guidelines to keep both parties aligned. And I'm gonna give you a quick story here. I worked in retail for almost 20 years, or some form of operations, and it was imperative because you can go in. The KPI scorecards was, depending on how many peers I had, they were pages long, and they went across the whole page with all these colors and all these metrics and all these focuses. And I could have been foolish enough to go in and say, okay, well, I'm going to do sales this way. I'm going to do service this way. I'm going to do people this way. I'm going to do um, on shelf availability this way, or whatever the case was, and shrink this way. I could have gone in and said, I'm going to focus on everything. But I had a conversation with my boss at every step. What do you want me to focus on for the first 30 days? Now, in my mind, because I've done this, I know that I need to be focused on making sure that I have stability in staffing when I go in that role. So I knew that, but I wanted to make sure that I established guidelines with my boss, and that we were aligned in what my focuses were going to be. That first 30, 60, 90 days, I am going to focus on building stability in staffing. And then I can grab some low hanging fruit. Hey, what's the one biggest challenge? I would ask my supervisor this. What's one of the biggest challenges that you think that alongside stability that perhaps I can impact, or you want me to learn more about it as I go through the training process? What's the low hanging fruit? Is it that we need to get our vendors in place? And I'm speaking retail language for those of you who don't have a background in retail. Do we need to get our vendors in place? Do I need to just engage the team more? Is that maybe that's low hanging fruit, that the team is just not engaged? Do I need to? Is there some element of service that I can focus on alongside the main priority as I continue to learn? I'm a master at getting people stable. I know how to build a team. I know how to develop a team. I know how to retain a team. And that was the goal that me and my boss agreed on in that first 30 days that will carry me through that next 60 days, right? So that first 90 days, for me, it was about staffing. But my question today is, do you know? Have you set those clear guidelines? Have you aligned with your partner, your boss, on what you should be focusing on while you're in this learning and development phase in this first 90 days? If you have not, that's fine. You heard it here. But if you have, put a heart in the chat, because this part is so important, because you can be going after the wrong things. And next thing you know, when the real work starts, when you pass that 90 days, you're tired and you're burnt out because you was focusing on all the things and not what you should have been focused on, just because you didn't communicate and make sure goals were aligned. Next is contribute and evolve. This is when you've aligned with your partner. Now you are seeking feedback. You're contributing actively, and you're seeking feedback on how you're doing, giving them progress updates on where you are with people stability. I'm going to keep using that example for the entire time. Give them progress updates. Ask for feedback. Is there anything that you would like me to do differently? Hey, I was in training and I learned this. Is there any, I learned this quirk, or I learned this nuance about the business. How would you like me to approach it? You all are growing together, but you're keeping that communication alive, and you're seeking feedback on what you're focusing on, so you don't turn around and next thing you know, you're getting a divorce and you didn't even plan for the divorce, right? You can never assume that what you're focusing on is the right thing and that you're doing a great job without seeking feedback. And for those of you who report to supervisors, executives, directors, they are very, very busy, and I'm not gonna. I think they want to give you feedback all the time. They may not have a cadence built in to give you that feedback, but if you don't have it, go get it. You have not because you ask not. Okay, go get that feedback so you can make sure that you and that partner, your employer, in that open marriage, that you all are growing together. You're growing together. And then, like I said, that 90 days is when you should start to see and feel that visible synergy because you have been focusing on the activities that were aligned in your goals, and it should be evident. You're moving the needle on people, you're moving the needle on staffing, and that's coming to fruition in all the results. And again, I'm using the staffing example as I go through this, but you should start to see and feel that harmony because you followed the steps that I talked about just a few minutes ago. Okay. All right. I need some more hearts before I go into bucket three because I'm about to wrap it up because divorces are hard, man, especially when you didn't know, like they filed the paperwork and you didn't even know they was going to file the paperwork. Like that's hard. I'd imagine that that's pretty hard. And so we want to be in this thing eyes wide open. Give me some hearts. I want to make sure we don't get divorced from our jobs involuntarily, right? Because this 90-day period is a probationary period. And we already know that 20% of people leave their jobs voluntarily in that first 45 days. But people are also not making it past this probationary period. Okay. So here's some common steps, common things that I see individuals who I encounter either in a coaching space or friends and family is they get the job and they put their eggs all in one basket. Oh, I got the job. And then they stop the job search. All of a sudden, they're not dating other jobs. I'm going to say this simply because I got 8 minutes. Keep dating other jobs. In that first 30 days, if you are the one who is stopping your job search, you decided to be loyal to this organization, they're not letting you sign a prenup, okay? You have to ensure that you remain vigilant in your job search, okay? You can still do so without jeopardizing your current commitment, but I guarantee you, I'm going to just say it as a former hiring manager. I was always looking for candidates. I was always looking for that next person to develop. I was always, just in case you quit me, I was going to have a backfill plan. So your organization is not saying, Candace is here and she is never going to leave us and we're going to stop our candidate search because she's here. They're not saying that. So why would you? Okay? Your job's not saying that. So why would you keep your job search active? You're also focusing on networking internally and externally to focus on growth to ensure that you're prepared for future possibilities. And then at 90 days, that's where you are hopefully thinking of maintaining your commitment and staying in an open marriage, but you're still growing and developing yourself and keeping your career options open in the process. Okay. So staying open that 30 days, like I said, be open to job opportunities without jeopardizing your commitment. So you got that, you know, you'll find the episode out here, 5 Minute Career Hack, where we tell you to keep your open to work on your banner, not your banner, on your LinkedIn profile. We say that. We've said it. I'm not taking it back. I do think it is a great practice to keep your open to work up, but it's about having clear communication with your boss about why you're doing that. I'm not going to tell you here. You'd have to go listen to the episode. I believe it is called Hit Them Angles. I believe it's episode 4. If my memory serves me correctly, I do have a really good memory. Hit Them Angles. Jamila explains why keeping your open to work is a good practice, as well as what that communication should look like with your boss. My point to you here today is you have to stay open to new connections. And when you continue your job search and you're still interviewing with other organizations, that's also an opportunity for you to learn how to get better at your current job because you're continuing to get industry insight. You're continuing to upskill yourself, practice interviewing. When I'm interviewing and I started another job, I'm getting more confident even in the job that I'm doing because I'm staying open and I'm always an active job seeker. Okay. Next 30 days, growth and connections. Focus on networking. You're going to build relationships inside the organization. I already told you how to make sure you keep building them outside the organization. But internally, grab that org chart and get to know the people who are going to help you be successful. If they don't have an org chart, if it's an underdeveloped company, ask your boss. These are the objectives. Who do you think that I need to build the partnerships with so that I can be successful by 90 days and beyond? Get the org chart, set up a call. This is when it's okay to prioritize and put on your calendar these connection meetings that you need to have with people. Get to know them. And I believe there's an episode on this too, um, in our archive. In building partnerships and strategies, I would get those partners on my calendar. I'm going to get to know them. I'm going to find a personal connection. I want to know about your kids, about your family. What do you love to do? I want to find something that we do alike. And again, they're human. So, right, triggering dopamine. They get really excited when you're interested in them. I do it genuinely, but I just know this to be a fact. But I'm going to find that connection point. And what I'm looking to understand in that meeting, I know this person can help me be successful because my boss told me or I figured it out along my career journey. But I want to also understand how their performance is measured, right? I want to understand how their performance is measured. So as I'm going to do my job, I understand how my connection with this person and how, because I network with this person, because they are in my sphere of influence or can be a support partner to me, I want to make sure that I'm doing the same. So I got to be clear when I walk away from this conversation of how they're being measured, how is their performance being measured, so I can make sure that I support and serve that as well as I get to know them. But you have to be networking. That is an essential activity. Put in the chat essential right now. Essential activity is to make sure that you are building partnerships. I didn't say go do other people's jobs. I didn't say go figure out how you can make their life easier. It's about building genuine connections with people and understanding who can support you as you go along and continue through this open marriage. Who's going to be your best supporters? Who's going to be that person? In 360 leadership, we talk about leading up, leading in the middle, leading down. This is leading in the middle. You got to know that. Now, of course, you want to make sure that you set up calls and understand, your boss, right? That's leading up, right? You want to make sure you set up calls with your team, but you're also looking to get a connection with people who are in the middle with you. And then lastly, that 90 days is balanced commitment. You are focusing on maintaining your commitment to your organization while staying open, keeping your career options open. But here it's all about balance and informed decisions. Balance and informed decisions. I did not say apply for jobs while you were sitting in your company's office. That's not what I said. But you have to decide how you're going to map out your day, your week, so you can remain open and have a balance in your personal life. And balance is probably not a word I even want to use. More harmony. Balance means equal commitment. Equal is really tough, but a more harmonized commitment or harmonious commitment by making sure that you plan out your day, your week, your month, where you can still stay committed to your organization, learning what you need to learn, contributing what you need to contribute, but also making sure that you're serving yourself by staying open, keeping your career options open. There's another episode I just dropped, options. Jamila talks about options in a series we did back in early 2022. You can go find that when she talks about the importance of keeping your career options open so that the salary negotiation process is easier and more streamlined. So that's it. That's all I got. Listen, 3 things that I don't want for you so you don't become one of those 25%. You want to make sure that you are embracing the honeymoon phase, learn what you need to learn in that first 30 days. You want to ensure that you are strategic in your activities. You want to make sure that you are a clear communicator. And then you want to make sure that you are keeping your career options open. So just in case you get an involuntary divorce, you have options and you don't feel like you're now jeopardizing the wealth of your family, your household income, all the responsibilities that you have. We don't want you in that position. Okay. So I hope you all enjoyed that. If this resonated with you, drop me some more hearts. I'm going to go back and look for those hearts when I go and check the comments after this is over. I hope that this resonated with you in a way that is going to shift at least one thing that you do in your current open marriage with your job. Now, I dropped a bunch of episodes that you still have to go look at, but listen, the beauty of 5 Minute Career Hack is our episodes are 5 to 10 minutes, right? Unless you're dealing with Candace, sometimes I go a little overboard, but you should be able to listen to at least 2 episodes if you have a 25 minute commute to your work. You should be able to listen to 2 to 3 episodes. So go back and listen to those episodes. Don't forget, share it with your friends, leave a review. We want to ensure that we continue to keep this platform open and share in all of our wins, our experience, our successes, our mistakes, our failures. That's where this content is coming from, the things that we're learning from the people we work with. We want to keep sharing with you, right? And we need your support by continuing to listen to the episodes, sharing with your friends, subscribe if you're on YouTube, write us a review if you're on Apple or if you're on Spotify, if you're on Audible, all those other iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google, we're everywhere. Leave us a review and tell us what you think about the episode. Okay. So I'm giving away some things. I'm 1 minute over and I'm going to give away a few things pretty quickly. I am going to drop a link in the chat on LinkedIn and on YouTube for you to enter into these drawings to receive these free things that I'm about to give out today. So last night I gave out 5 community, 4 master's courses, 3 in transit courses, 2 free coaching sessions, and I gave out 1 resume package last night. I was feeling good and saucy last night. And guess what? I'm still feeling good and saucy. So I'm giving out the exact same thing. Boom. I'm giving away 5 memberships to our community. You just have to use the link that's in the chat. I'm going to put it in here. So you got to stay. I'm going to put it in here as soon as I hang up. Use the link, put your email address in, follow the steps in the link, and we will do a drawing. And we're going to give out 5 community memberships. Our community membership, our Career Hacker community is packed with tools. We got 7-day resume challenge, 7-day LinkedIn challenge, master classes, live sessions, mindful minutes from Candace. It's got so much content. You have access to myself, Jamila, and Alicia 20, well, 8, 9 hours a day, but 24 hours a day. You have access to us inside the community where you can ask any question. Jamila does Ask the Coach sessions where she lets you come on live and ask questions. Man, this is like thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands worth of stuff inside this community, and we offer it as a subscription-based community for $60 per quarter, and I'm giving away 5 of them free. 4 master's courses. We have our Career Hackers Master's course where you can go in and there's 15 plus modules in there that walks you through the entire life cycle, the entire employment life cycle, from resume to interview to salary negotiation. Alicia is getting everybody together with emotional intelligence and even how to know when it's time to exit that job and a strategy you should pursue for that. Okay. I'm giving away 4 more master's courses. 4 more master's courses. Make sure you click that link. Come back to the chat, click the link. Alicia and Jamila, if you all are on here, please drop the link in the chat for me so they can know where to click. But you got to submit your email address in that link, and we're going to do a drawing, and we're going to give away these freebies. 3 in transit courses. 50% plus people are looking to make a career shift right now. We want to help you get there faster. How do you get promoted? We're going to build your salary negotiation skills, and we're also going to walk you through the strategy, the roadmap for your next career shift. All in the in-transit master's class that we have in there. It's a workshop that we did that is up on our website for sale. I'm giving away 3 of those free. 2 free coaching sessions. Access to the masterminds, myself, Jamila, or Alicia. I'm giving 2 people a free coaching session. If you're looking to pivot in your career, your company, your confidence, you want this coaching session. You want this coaching session. Go look at my LinkedIn page, look at my reviews. People have commented on going through this coaching process. I want you to go and get some feedback there, but just click the link. Like, let's make it easy. It's effortless out here. Click the link that I drop in the chat, enter the drawing, get you 2 free coaching sessions. And again, I'm giving away 1 resume package. The industry right now charges almost $1,000 depending on your role for our interview package. We have a sale going on right now where it's $250. but I'm giving away one free, so you don't even have to pay the 250. So please definitely make sure you click that link, share your information with us, and we will enter you into the drawing to receive one of these 15 items. I've given away 30 free things tonight. 30 people are being blessed by the 5 Minute Career Hack as we celebrate our 100th episode. 100 episodes. If you haven't checked out this previous episode, Jamila was dropping bars on conflict leadership, part one and part two. Go check it out. Don't forget to leave a review, subscribe, and set your alerts on YouTube. But more importantly, and this is the principle that we operate on, share. We are sharing. We're not charging for the podcast. We are sharing gems, sharing knowledge, sharing tools on our platform to help you not survive your career, thrive in your career, and get to whatever destination you're pivoting to, whether if it's from one day to the next. We're sharing tools to help you get to that destination faster. And I need you to share that out with the community as well. That's what we were put on this earth to do, is to share, to be in community. So I need you doing that. So I love y'all so much. Thank you for hanging in there. I definitely wish you all well in your open marriages with your job, or open marriages with whatever industry or business that you're doing, because you should be at the forefront of everything that you're doing in your career. And that's what our tools are designed to help you with. Prioritize yourself and make sure your strategy is working for you. So love y'all, be well, and have a great evening.